So uncouth.
I got to twiddle my knobs.
Oh, I could sense it, even over state borders.
You're back in Victoria, Caroline.
I am.
The ley lines have never been the same. Welcome to So Uncouth, a podcast filled with conversations you can't have in polite company. I'm Victoria Hannaford, a recovering journalist. I'm with Caroline Craig, an actor who's regularly crossing state lines.
Huzzah.
Why? We don't know.
I'm a fugitive.
On the run from the arts, mate.
I'm on the lam.
And we're with our friend, the mysterious Bunsen burner. We are still unclear what she does for a job, but there's one thing we know for sure. She does not work in office administration.
Or if she does, she's in the toilets, doom scrolling.
We are three friends who live in three different cities, and you're joining our weekly catch-up. We're delighted you're here with us. Now, Bunsen,
Yes.
you don't work in office admin, but you have come good on a promise. Is that correct?
Yes. Last week, we talked about Derek Blasberg, who we had mentioned in a previous episode. He is a friend of Gwyneth Paltrow's and other celebrity ladies who allegedly pooed in Gwyneth's house in a room that was not the bathroom and then fled the scene, leaving a mess on the walls and ceilings, allegedly.
Maybe even on the fan.
It was like a crime scene.
A crime scene. Yeah. I just say that because I think it's important to hold this front and center in your mind when I'm reading to you some of his works, because he claims to be a writer.
And not just a writer, right?
He claims to be many things, but that's good for grounding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found one of his books, which it's actually called Very Classy, Even More Exceptional Advice for the Extremely Modern Lady.
Ooh, that is
Wow.
repulsive.
Yep. It is an expanded edition of Classy,
Oh,
the New York Times bestseller, and it has 2 new chapters because, as Blasberg says, there's always room to get classier.
Oh, wow.
fuck off,
Goodness
Blasberg.
me. And he knows the way, obviously.
Yep. The thing is, right, listen, I'll read you a little bit of the foreword.
Dive in, Bunsen. What do you got for us?
Now that Classy is a bona fide success, a New York Times bestseller no less, I can make the following confession. Before it was published, I was extremely trepidatious and hesitant about writing a collection of humorous essays covering etiquette and social behaviour. When the book was still a rough idea in my head, there were moments when I thought penning a book on ladylike behaviour would be futile. I was scared it wouldn't sell and people would think I was completely clueless. In a culture where it seems tramps and reality stars can rule the world, why would anyone buy a book on manners and class?
I mean, I said it before, but he can fuck all the way off. And also, like, what words to come and bite you
I
in the
know.
ass? Like,
Tramps.
literally.
I know.
I know.
Anyway.
Now, in his intro, by the way, he has a lot of photographs, and it's always him with a woman celebrity. So I've got a few screens open. Let me tell you who he's got. Hang on. Chloe Sevigny, Kirsten Dunst, Nicole Richie, Christy Turlington, and Emma Watson are
Wow, that's a
all
classy
photographed
list.
in this book. Now, I'm going to keep going here. Lisa, have a listen. What could someone like me, a scruffy-faced, Midwest-born 20-something, know about being a lady? What does a boy from suburban Missouri who drove a Pontiac to his public high school know about black tie galas and VIP rooms? What does this guy know about diamonds and the haute couture? Well, let me tell you, a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel like he's just like trying to lean too much on like divisions of class when actually he's kind of like dodging the real point, which is that he is trying to set a standard for women when he's got no business doing any such thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through observations and experience, by working in the fashion and entertainment industries and forging friendships with chic young women, and thanks to my own brand of pluck and moxie, I've learned how to spot a responsible young lady. I know the difference between smart casual and cocktail dress codes. I have a good idea of what's sexy and what's slutty, and I'm all too familiar with the proper way to lay a buffet. And I've realised that nothing good can come from a young woman's amateur attempt at pole dancing.
I take personal issue
my God.
with this.
Now, Victoria, this is where I was just like, hang on a second. I have seen someone do an amateur attempt at pole dancing. And as I've seen this person doing amateur attempt, I've thought she should not be an amateur. She should be a professional.
She should go professional.
Thank you.
That's Victoria Hannaford. So did anything good come from that, Victoria?
Oh,
Can you prove Blaz Turd wrong?
Yes, because not only have I been an amateur pole dancer in various countries, I can think of the UK, possibly Denmark. It could have happened in Spain.
An international career.
Correct.
There's poles everywhere, guys. Greasy poles.
It definitely happened in Thailand, and it certainly happened in a few different states in Australia. And I am now having unparalleled success as a podcaster. And there's only a few letters between pole dancer and podcaster. So you do the math, Derek Blaz Turd. Who's having the last greasy pole dance? Me. Fuck you. And all of the pole dancers around the world should unite against this.
Yeah. Rise up the pole.
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse. Okay, so listen to this.
Oh.
Lay down the gauntlet.
I can categorize the young women I've met. Okay, so that just full stop, just right there. That's a sentence that should not be written. But anyway, I can categorize the young women I've met through my trials and travails into two groups, ladies and tramps.
Oh,
Wow.
The ladies were pleasant, well-groomed girls who knew to keep their phones off the dinner table and wear underwear when sporting a short skirt. The tramps were a much more sordid sort. They sound like fun. Types who wore clothes 2 sizes too small. Again, Victoria, I think you might have, I think I've seen you do that.
How else are they going to stay up on those greasy poles?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. You need a lot of skin contact with the pole.
That's right.
Otherwise, you slide down.
Exactly.
It's hell on the inner thighs, guys. Absolute fucking hell, let me tell you.
I can imagine a bit of chafing.
Yeah, I recall when you came home after a red-eye flight coming back from, I think you'd been most recently near a pole in Bangkok and you had a splinter on your inner thigh.
Or was it a red
Exactly.
thigh flight?
I think you're conflating a few different stories there, but I'm here for it. Don't worry about it. We'll just go with that.
Okay,
We'll
whatever.
go with that.
Anyway, the tramps ate with their hands, also something I've seen you do, Victoria, and always,
The knife and fork that God gave you.
and always smelled of cigarettes and designer imposter perfume and tequila and worse.
Oh my goodness. It's like Miss Havisham. It's like something out of some Victorian nightmare.
Do you know
Okay.
what he's describing to me? A good time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, the thing is that as I'm reading it to you, I realise he is describing you, Victoria. Like, this is pretty much like,
Blow by blow account.
yeah, I've only got a tiny little bit more to read. I mean, there's a whole book that we could dive into, but
Let's not. Let's save our ear holes. What's the
Yeah.
point? He's a douche canoe.
we haven't even finished the intro. We're 5 pages into 9. My shocking realisation, there are far too many tramps in the world, hence this book.
Oh, clean
So
it
he's-
up, Blasberg.
He's saving humanity. Remember, this is a guy who allegedly pooed all over Gwyneth Paltrow's house.
And not only that, ran away.
That's the main point, right?
Yeah. Clean up your mess, mate. Clean it up. That's what a lady does. Not
And left a
tramp.
shitty
Goodness me.
tip for the home help to clean up the mess on his behalf.
Turned off in his Pontiac, didn't he? Back to high school.
yeah.
But interestingly, when I looked at more closely at the book, I realised it was published in 2011.
Oh, things have changed.
It's not that long ago, though, really.
Well, I think it depends how old you are, Victoria. I mean, you know, for us, it seems not that long ago. But anyway, but what I'm saying is that, like, I do think as well, when I know that this is 2011, it brings me back to that really low hipster kind of pant with the tramp stamp, which is a,
Right,
you know,
like assassin bide kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
yeah. And those are they're the ones that I recall you wearing 2 sizes too small, Victoria.
That's the only way they stay
No,
up.
actually, Bunsen, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to correct the record here.
They weren't 2 sizes too small. They were the perfect size for you. But I'm
No,
saying that's what he's
no,
referring
We're
to.
talking about muffin tops. Is that what we're talking about?
I suffer from a medical condition, and I just want you guys to know about this because it's time that I revealed my truth.
How come we've never talked about it?
It's called high crack, okay? I've got an incredibly high crack, and that has plagued me all my life. Pants that are not hipsters will still reveal crack because of my medical condition.
Goes all the way up to your shoulder
It's
blades.
very
doesn't it?
high, and there are a few of us out there, and we suffer in silence, and I'm releasing myself from the shame. I will suffer no more from this kind of persecution.
No. You can't even look at it in the face.
You've got a
can
low
you?
crack, Bunsen. I'd say that yours is probably mid, Caroline, and I've got an extremely high crack.
How do you know? Firstly,
Do you want me to show you? Do you want me to check? How do I
I just
check?
know. I know because I've never seen it. And Bunsen, I know you have a low kind of crack, and I've got a high crack, and that is the burden I live with in this life.
now, as a high crack, you know, like now that you're an advocate
The high crack
for
community.
She's speaking her truth.
the high crack community, can you explain to me how wearing extremely tight low rise helps the high crack community?
It doesn't help anyone, but that was the fashion at the time. And you struggle when you have a high crack and a low waistband to make these things meet in the middle. They don't. Okay, so what's happening is that you've got a coin slot available to all, which is handy if you're a pole dancer. People can insert cash into the slot. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there are issues beyond people's not immediate knowledge in this situation.
And can I just ask, when did you first realise that you were part of the high crack community? When did you first identify
Was it
as
the
a
pole
high
in
crack?
Thailand or
I've
the one in
always had a
Denmark?
high crack. I think it was in my teenage years. It was a vulnerable time, but I just have always had a bit of booty and a high crack, and it's just
Let it out. Let it out.
When did you come out? I mean, you're coming out now to the wider world, but like, who was the first person you came out to?
It was always out.
I guess that's a problem.
The person standing behind her.
The thing is, you're right, Caroline. I've come out to a lot of people without knowing it. My crack's come out and they've seen it. I've had bosses comment on it. And, this is the shame and pain that I've been suffering with for a lot of my life. And I'm going to be silent no more. High crack tramp community, rise up.
Let your cracks rise. As they will.
As they have.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud
Thank
of
you.
you guys. This is great. And I feel the Bladsterd has actually given us a little springboard here, actually.
Yeah.
You know, through triumph through adversity.
Can I ask if does anybody else who shares the same gene pool also suffer from this condition, or are you just uniquely blessed?
I don't want to out other people without their consent.
Okay. Sorry. That was probably. I think that's an appropriate boundary. Good to draw it. Let's just draw that line.
What if they want to identify as high crack? Are we going to close it down?
Yeah, we welcome low crackers into the high crack community. We are very accepting because anyone with a crack is welcome to join.
Inclusive in the crack.
But I will
like
just
it.
say that I'm so glad I have a chance to come out with it because it's plagued me. I've just never been comfortable wearing, say, a bikini because I just know that my crack will escape at any point. And it's just
and everyone's going to want in, aren't they? They're going to be running up here.
no eyeballs are safe from the peril of the high crack. All right. Anyway, listen, if you have any money that you want to slide down my crack, I'll take it. It's fine. It's all good. Notes and the money that
It doesn't jiggle, it rolls.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what it
that's
is?
right. I'll take the money that jiggles and rolls. So it's all good. It's all good in my cracky hood.
Won't jiggle with that crack. Yeah.
No, it
Anyway.
just slides in
All
the
right.
slot.
Shall we draw a close? Is there anything else you'd like to say about the Bladsterd? I feel like it's taken us to new territories.
There's a lot of jewels in here. We can pick them. Maybe we'll return to him at some point. But it essentially, I think we've covered him. We're good.
Yeah, well, I sort of hated him at the beginning, and now I feel like I'm a bit thankful because it's kind of through his, down arc that we've risen up. So I'm quite excited now.
Thank you,
Okay.
Caroline. That's a good
Good.
way to put a button on it because I'm filled with rage and
Yeah.
he's on my list.
Where there's darkness, there's light.
Well, Caroline, how's your week been? What's been plaguing you in the past few days? Because I feel like you look a bit haunted and I want to know why.
It's about Book Week. I don't know if you guys have
Oh,
experienced Book Week, right?
Yeah.
It's a horror that comes around every year.
Exactly. And it's where all the little kids have to dress as a character from their favourite book. And
I don't think it's just little kids, FYI. I think big kids do it as well.
yeah,
sometimes.
actually, I think you're right. I think I drove past a high school yesterday on the way to pick up, but the thing is, it's just become so elastic. I want to know, what is a book, because there are a lot of people dressed as Sam Kerr. There are a lot of people dressed as Matildas.
Oh, Sam Kerr has a book.
Minecraft. There was heaps of Harry Potter.
They've got books. They're all books.
Are they books?
Yeah.
Sam Kerr is an author and also one of my favourite people in the world. You talk about the Matildas, don't you?
I know. No, I've never done. No,
Don't
I'm not
you?
dissing
I'm
them.
going to fight you in the street, Caroline.
But I think there's been a bit of a thing online
Yeah.
about teachers struggling to explain that dressing as a player from the Matildas is not a theme for Book Week, because Matilda is a book. I'm wondering if Roald Dahl and the sporting community have just, I don't know, merged somehow.
The problem is, right, and I'm just going to come out and say it. Look, there's a lot of things that I probably should never say in public. I think we've all just heard some of that in the past few minutes. I fucking hate Book Week. I think that it is like it's unfair on a few different fronts because it puts an enormous amount of pressure on parents to produce a costume. So if some of them default to a kind of easy option like Spider-Man or the Matildas because they're their kids' heroes and you don't want to have an argument with your kid about what they want to dress up as because they hear the words dress up and probably everything else fades into the distance with the words after that, like as your favourite book character. No one cares.
Yeah. Have you read a book? That was the other question some kids are being asked.
And it assumes that you are an expert with a hot glue gun and a sewing machine, skills I do not have. If you default to something that you can get at Spotlight or wherever, your local costume shop easily, let everyone live in peace. Calm down. It's got nothing to do with reading. If it works for you and you can get a favourite book character, that's fine. But it's based on some 1950s housewife ideal that there is a kind of parent in the house, usually like they're looking at the mum or
and they've got a calendar on
the
their
female
wall.
figure in the house, who has enough spare time to make that costume because the homemade costumes always win the prizes. It's a bunch of bullshit.
I've got something to show you, though, speaking of a bunch of bullshit. So 9 p.m. is usually when Book Week happens. Yeah, Book Week happens at 9 o'clock in the evening, just the day before.
In your house?
They go, it's Book Week tomorrow. You're like, I want to go as, first of all, Lottie said, I want to go as Darth Maul, who is like the most evil character in Star Wars. It would have actually been easy. All we need to do is get some sort of shroud and put talcum powder in her face, right?
I love that for her.
But
talcum powder is carcinogenic, but anyway.
Yeah, I know. And well, she had to have red eyes, so it could have worked. Anyway, what I have got is this. This is a little
pig head.
It's very good. Thank you. Pig head.
Just so everyone knows, Caroline is holding up a box that is painted or coloured pink.
Yeah, with a curly tail.
With a curl. Oh, is that okay? It's a tail. Yep. And some very cute ears. Well done.
Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, thank you. There's a dead mandarin that's been painted black.
And that's a spider.
That's the spider. That's Wilbur.
It does actually look like it's accumulating mould, the dead mandarin.
It looks like it belongs in my car. But anyway.
It might have been in my car for a very long time. I was like, here's something we could do with it. Turn it into a spider.
You're doing a lot with not much time and not many resources.
Oh, that is genius.
What's happening?
I'm revealing the underside, just like the pig's crack. It really is
a roller skate.
Wheels. Thank you very much. A roller skate. So a box on roller skates. That's Charlotte's Web. That's what you got for you.
Well done. I think that we need some photos of that for social media.
Community. I'd love if there's anyone else who could possibly put in some Book Week perlers. That would really help. I need a support network.
This is not a skill I have. and I'm never going to have.
Oh,
In terms of making costumes and stuff, I'm hopeless. And Peter does it all, and I get the credit because they just assume it's me.
oh,
Brilliant.
nice.
That's great.
When sexism works in your favour.
So uncouth.
We've got a listener email. Now, Caroline, normally I get you to read the listener emails, but
And
for
I enjoy
reasons
it.
that will become apparent,
I like having lines.
we're going to switch it up this week
Uh-oh.
because we had some correspondence come through to our inbox, souncouthpod@gmail.com. That's all one word.
Mm.
And, well, I'll just get to it, shall I? What does one do when a house guest staying for a week takes it literally when I invite her to make herself at home? Shampoo and toothpaste, even body lotion I'm fine with. And I've learnt to take my towel to my room. But the electric toothbrush and makeup and earrings?
No.
Books are fine to borrow even without asking. And at a pinch, jumpers, but knickers? Fortunately, our bra sizes are different.
Uh-oh.
There's more. There's more.
Uh-oh. I don't know who this is.
Who would do those things?
Who could it be?
Yeah.
There's more. Things we didn't know about. She doesn't like cats, so my cat gets sworn at and about, and she feeds the dog tidbits from the table. Definite no-no in my house. The dog is a miniature dachshund, and it only takes a small piece of chicken to make his tummy graze the ground. In quote marks. But he's starving, poor thing! Exclamation mark. End quote.
He was hungry. What can I say?
Haven't finished, Caroline. Hold fire, please. And talking about food, anything is fair game. I was away for the week and she was house sitting, so eating anything from the fridge, freezer and pantry was fine. But eating all the peanut butter and leaving the empty jar in the pantry, possibly to remind me I needed to buy another, beyond the pale. And the yoga mat ends up grimy because she takes it outside. The thing is, she's family and I adore her. End of
Aw.
correspondence.
It's not me. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Do you know what I've discovered?
That person is sick.
We need to monetize this podcast and get a peanut butter sponsorship because all of us have got issues
I know.
with PB.
I think we need some support.
So I think
Oh
just
my
for
God, that's
context,
hilarious.
who has this email come from, Victoria, and what could she be referring to?
Listen, I don't want to reveal our sources because I will always promise anonymity to the So Uncouth community, but it sounds like this person has similar problems to Caroline's mother-in-law, who she may have house sat for last week. Whether or not it's the same person, I can't say.
She also proudly, it seemed, confessed to wearing her mother-in-law's underpants while she was house sitting.
No.
I think there was a declaration of actually being a great house guest. That was the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
just a lot of conflicting information here, Caroline. What do you got to say for yourself?
Well, I knew I was busted when I'd washed the undies.
No!
And I hung them out. I hung them out to dry and I put them in a sunny spot, but not on the line.
No, you hung yourself out to dry in that moment, Caroline.
And then I came inside and they were folded up and I was like, oh.
Well, also, did you
I
not
failed.
think that you would be busted from her listening to the podcast where you actually just told the story?
Yeah. I try to maintain anonymity.
No, that's Bunsen. The thing is, you're not just talking to us. This goes out globally.
I thought it was just us guys. The peanut butter was hard. It was difficult. I didn't know what I could do. I shoved it to the back of the pantry.
That's what she said. Oh, the person who wrote in,
The correspondent.
felt that it had been left there, as a reminder that you needed more.
As a passive-aggressive reminder.
I don't think that was the case. I think it was kind of left there because with the implication that you thought there was still some left in the jar for her to enjoy.
There is. I mean, you can always get a scraping out of that. There was more of a scraping out of that.
Yeah, you just need a spoon.
Or your finger.
Yeah.
Or just your fist. Just get it in there.
Or just your tongue.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. Listen, I think we've done enough
Oh, we've done enough damage, haven't we? I'm never going there
to
again.
imperil our reputations throughout this whole episode.
Dogs fat, the cat's insulted.
Caroline, you must have, she is family and I adore her. I mean, Despite your shortcomings as a house guest, that's still
Yeah.
pretty nice from a mother-in-law, if it is, in fact, your mother-in-law who wrote that email. And if it's not, then there's hope for you, okay, because it's happened somewhere else.
She is a wonderful woman. She had been on a yoga retreat, okay? So she might have been all beatific and all, loved up.
Doesn't sound like it.
So,
There was a lot of beyond the pale.
She took the magnifying lens to your habits and you came up a little bit short, Caroline.
she sees it all. She's an artist with an eye to detail. What can I say?
All right, shall we move on to our So Uncouth of the Week?
Yes, please.
Now, you guys might be aware of a big breakup in the world of public figures, possibly celebrity. No, not Ben Affleck and J-Lo.
Oh, did they break up? They're selling their houses and
Yeah.
stuff.
Listen, repeat offending never works. That's something you should know, Caroline, when it comes to relationships.
Never go back. Never surrender.
It takes a while to learn sometimes, but yeah.
No, it's actually not those two lovebirds. It's another breakup. It's Rupert Murdoch and some of his children. He's now locked in a legal battle with 3 of his children. And it was a story broken by the New York Times recently. So he has...
It's Succession, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, it's so close to
Beyond
Succession.
that, though. But let me tell you what's going on. So he's 93 and there's some kind of irrevocable family trust. I think that's what it's technically called. So it just means it's kind of completely locked down. The terms of which have now kind of been revised, or they're attempted to be revised in some court somewhere in the Midwest. I think they tried to keep it out of the public eye. However, that has now fallen by the wayside and it's been reported on.
Because breaking here.
This is the thing that I find the most outrageous. The whole thing has been called Project Harmony. I mean, if that isn't Orwellian doublethink nonsense, I don't know what is. But anyway, so he's got 3 children allegedly involved in the battle. So his favourite
Lachlan
is Lachlan. He's the sort of heir apparent. But he's actually got 6 kids ranging in ages from 66 to 21.
Wow.
But the 2 youngest, his kids with Wendy Deng, they're not involved in it. I don't understand why.
That's wild, eh?
But can you imagine how hard his PA has to work to keep up to date with all the gift trends when you've got children like spanning 3 generations? He actually skips millennials entirely.
Am I going to Smiggle or am I going to...
I know. You've got Boomer, Gen X, and then like Zennials or Gen Alpha, whatever they are. So anyway, look, I think that there's something that we could do here, which is he's clearly got children all over the place. We could I don't know, change our names, fake a paternity test, somehow become involved. And I've called him Uncle Rupert before.
You did work there. I'm sure you'd have some DNA samples.
He'd have to kind of surely when he saw you with a gob full of peanut butter in your mouth, because that's when you called him Uncle Rupert, if I
yeah,
recall.
That's right. Seared into his memory.
Yeah, he'd have to be kind of like, anyone who is that comfortable around me is probably family. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, it's plausible.
But also, can I just be clear? What's the court case? What's it about?
What are they fighting about?
What are they fighting about?
It's about who gets to take over the empire, I think, and under what terms.
Oh, it really is Succession. Wow.
Because he's really keen to maintain a particular political stance. Look, and we could promise anything. Look, but what I thought was, I can think of a few different roles we could play in the organisation. Like Caroline, you could be CFO because I remember you were such a great treasurer.
Yeah.
For Vinyl Discharge.
It's all about the number crunching and the jiggle and the rolling.
Exactly.
I can do that.
Bunsen, you could be CMO because I've worked under a couple of chief marketing officers and I've never known what they did. And also kind of the M could stand for mystery, chief mystery officer, because we really don't know what you do, what your area of expertise is.
There's that. And also we've established that I don't think you have to file emails as a CMO, so that's good. We'd be safe.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Right.
And I could do something like editor at large and boss of HR because I can think of a few bosses who are on my shit list. So I could just hire them in order to fire them because, I've got some petty grievances that I need to settle.
That'd be great.
You did mention before that a boss had put some money in your crack. Or commented on your crack.
Yeah, that was in hospitality. I could hire them, though, in order to fire them.
Get
Yeah,
him
cool.
in. Get him in.
Look, it doesn't seem like you really need to be that
No.
qualified to run a media empire. You just need to be related. So we could make that happen. And, that's pretty much the plot of King Lear. And that all turned out fine. Am I
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
3 sisters. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Goneril, Regan, and Cordelia, I recall.
And I've also plotted the path because we just launched SU Media on
Oh.
LinkedIn. So the stage has been set. We're ready.
I think it's meant to be. The stars are aligning.
Uncle Rupert, when you want us, we're here.
It's actually Daddy Rupert. But anyway.
That is the grossest thing that's ever come out of your mouth, Bunsen. And on that note,
Papa Ruru.
I'll copy you later.
Yes.
Yeah, God.
Golly, get me out of here.
So